Welcome, everybody. Welcome. It's your weekly moment of inner alchemy. I've got my good vibes shirt on for the day. I don't know if you can see that. Good vibes. Today is definitely a day of good vibes. We've got our beautiful Alchemy and Oracles live session where we get to tune our divine body mind. So it's in alignment with our heart's music and it's in tune with the cosmic energies. And then tonight we have our very special Sonic Acupuncture session, which I love to do so much. It's part of Double the Love Foundation's online community clinic. And there is a link in the description. There's still time to register to join us. That is when we get to work specifically on what you need. So we spend a lot of time. I'm an acupuncturist, clairvoyant, and sound healer. So Sonic Acupuncture is my jam. I've been doing it for a really long time. Needles and sound, without needles and sound, really just using the sound to activate and awaken your vital force, your chi flow, and how it moves through the body. Because anytime that your vital force, your chi is not flowing, it can cause pain, dis-ease, discomfort that ripples through all areas of your life. Let's say you're even feeling great. It's a great way to stay feeling balanced and in harmony, because we are not just physical beings, we are energetic beings as well. And so it will keep your subtle energetic bodies also tuned, so it doesn't have a chance. We're just like cutting it off at the pass, basically. We're harmonizing it off at the pass. So it doesn't have a chance to kind of reach the physical self, right? I remember, God, a long time ago when I was really just kind of coming out in this world and offering my gifts. And one of my father's friends was here and I was doing a reading for him and I was asking him if he had any problems with his knees. And he was like, no, my knees are fine. My knees are fine. I was like, are you sure? Because I kept picking up knee pain, but nope, no problem with my knees, none at all. I think it was like 3 days later, he called my dad and he was flying to somewhere and he was walking down the aisle, kneeled in the aisle to talk to a friend of his, and guess what happened? His knees totally locked up and he couldn't walk. And so, so part of the beauty of this work, working with sound and vibration, is we are able to address and harmonize the things that are not yet visible but are still in your field. So they might not physically influence you yet, but there is dissonance in the field that if it's there long enough will have a physical effect. They've also done studies with meridians. I think it was the liver meridian. I remember learning about this in graduate school, where they severed the liver meridian, and within 3 days, the organ started to show problems. So there is definitely something to be said about keeping your chi healthy and vital. And sound is one of the most profound ways that I have found to do it, because it can address not only the symptoms, but the root of what you're experiencing as well. Sound is like water. It can get into all those crevices and nooks and crannies that you might not be aware of, conscious of, or able to reach. But yet the sound knows where to go and will start to influence those areas and start to harmonize it using the law of vibration and resonance. And so it's a very simple way to take care of your vibrational health. And another beautiful thing about it is that we can do it no matter where we are in the world, gathering together like we are right now, and having experiences and change as a result. So I do hope you join us. All your proceeds will go to benefit the nonprofit, which helps take care of somebody else at the same time. So it's such a beautiful structuring container where you can take care of yourself and at the same time take care of another. And it just is constantly this generating and sustainable life force in that space. So do join us. It's always a fun session, always revealing and and transformative. I love hearing people's experiences at the end where they talk about how their pain had gone away and they weren't even coming there for pain. They were coming there to you know, de-stress. So the benefits are many and the effort is minimal. You just have to say yes, right? And then you just have to show up. And if you can't make it live, there's recording, so you have a chance to show up on your own time as well. So I do hope if you feel the calling, you know, I will see you there. So listen to what your body is asking of you. It knows the way. It knows the way. Okay, now the way is directing me to the drawing. So let's dive in. Let's dive in. Here we go, dear ones. Let's see what is in the field for us together today. It's almost like you can't even hear what's going on. It's like there's noise or sound outside in the outer world, but it's almost like you can't quite make it out. You're straining to hear it, but you can't quite hear it. It's almost like you're maybe in a whiteout or in a fog somehow. Like things just are on the outer edges of your perception. You're wanting to make change. You're wanting to make change, and it's exhausting. You're doing all these things. I've been there. I know the feeling. You're doing all these things because you so desperately want to make change, but it's tiring you out, and it's counterproductive. It's counterproductive. And there's a lot of inner turmoil. Like you're really, you know, struggling and fighting with the belief systems that are embedded within your being, within your mind, within your body, mind, your programming. So there's a lot of dissension amongst the ranks. But the one who's really in control is just sitting there so quietly, just taking it all in, just watching. It's like that part of you, that higher self, is always there for you, ready for you when you need her or him. You know, that part of you that is always there for you, just waiting for you to ask for help. And it will show you the way. It knows the way. It knows how to get you there. You know, for me, it feels like it's my heart. So I always just go to my heart and I let the heart lead the way. And I made a commitment to letting my heart lead the way several years ago when I found myself running into a wall repeatedly in some areas of my life. And I continue to defer to that part of myself, even if it doesn't always make sense. And slowly over time, you begin to trust yourself more and more. And I keep finding new ways to make that easier for myself. And I will be sharing that with you in upcoming months. But for now, know that that part of you, all those ones that are kind of arguing with one another and those inner conversations that you have, those aren't the ones that have the faintest idea of what to do, how to get there, where to go, any of that. They're just scared children. These are these parts of yourself that are wanting the same thing as you, but everything they're doing is to keep you safe. And so they're not able to get you to where you want to go. They don't have the perspective. They don't have the scope. They don't have the vision. They just have their perceived reality, which is limited. Now, the higher part of you, or the heart self, the heart mind, that part of you, the one that's sitting there on her throne, just patiently waiting and observing, she knows all. She's connected to all space and time. She knows the way. She has the maps. She knows how to get you there, and she knows how to get you there without any effort. Doesn't mean that work isn't required. Doesn't mean you don't have to take action, but the type of action that you take is much different than the type of action that you're taking in reaction to these other parts of yourself that are trying to fight for, you know, the wheel of your vehicle. But the one who's really driving, when you let that part of you really drive, you can sit back and enjoy the ride. It becomes more of an adventure rather than, you know, a difficult trek. So first we need to quiet the voices. We need to learn how to do that. You get really noisy in there, huh? You get really noisy. Saw this really interesting video of this man the other day. I posted it on my Facebook wall not too long ago. And his job is to go to places across the world and record their silence. And it's just fascinating. I was like, oh, I would love, I would love to be in some of those places. I actually have been in some of those places. When I was watching the video, I was like, oh, I know that place. I've been there. He said some places are so quiet you can hear the blood rushing in your veins. And they've actually created rooms like that. There was another man, he was studying sound, and he created a room where it was beyond silent. It was like, I can't remember the decibels, but he would go in there for hours at a time. Most people would, lose their mind after 10, 15 minutes. And he would go in there for hours at a time, and you could hear your own heartbeat. It was so silent, and the blood rushing through your veins. And so that's how he began to cultivate his sense of mindfulness. Now, we don't need to do necessarily those kinds of extreme things. You can do whatever you prefer to do on your exploration of your journey of life and connection with yourself and living authentically and living a vital, thriving, healthy life. But there are much more accessible ways to doing that. I'm glad other people do that so we don't have to, right? That's the beauty of it. You have all these wonderful way showers and guides and teachers and mentors who have done all of that work so they can show you how to get there with much less effort. Much less effort. Okay, so this is their drawing today. Does that feel about right to you guys? Let me know in the comments what you see. Okay. What am I seeing on my screen? Let's go into the sounds. Let's go into the sounds. I almost didn't know if I would be able to do the drawing today, but we were able to do it. But now the sounds, it's their turn to communicate to us. I apologize for the white noise in the background. My computer, my sweet, sweet computer is not suited for this job anymore. I'm going to have to figure out a new option for this so we can all enjoy the sound as it's meant to be communicated. Closing our eyes. I invite you to put a hand over your chest, over the center of your heart. And just notice how much noise, how much interference, how much information your body is taking in. It's constantly picking up signals from the environment and from your mind, but let's just pay attention to the outer environment. Looks like all the thoughts and voices in your head. Exactly, Sophia. How are you today? Nice to see you. So we're just going to notice how that feels, how our body feels in response to all the thoughts and voices in your head. We're not even trying to do anything about it. We're just noticing how our body's responding to those thoughts, which are usually running constantly in the background. Okay. So notice how your nervous system is responding. Notice how your breath is responding. There you go. Yeah, and even with just this noticing, you might feel emotions come up because we're giving ourselves a chance to let this energy move when we slow ourselves down in this way. So just notice the emotions that are arising. Beautiful. And all we're doing right now is just being present as the witness. You already can feel even the space around you has begun to get quieter and quieter. When we can quiet ourselves, the space around us responds to our own vibration. It responds to how we feel. I shared the story before about the Oregon Eclipse Festival. There was something like, I don't know, 30,000, 60,000. I'm not good with remembering numbers, but it was one or the other people at this festival. And my friends and I were at our little camp. Started taking out all our bowls and our sound instruments, and we were toning and playing our sound bowls together, just like 5 or 6 of us. And you could hear a pin drop around us. Everything went silent. You couldn't even hear things going on at the festival. We all noticed it. Okay, so you create the space. You create space. You create what fills the space around you. And when we can cultivate these moments of quiet, it invites quiet into our world. And we can hear ourselves more clearly. We can feel ourselves more clearly. And if you've studied human design at all, they suggest, depending on your aura type, that you actually sleep separately from your partner. So you're not constantly picking up the noise, information from the other. So you have time to really detox and feel yourself, hear yourself. I'll leave you to experiment with that. Beautiful. So now, I'm going to invite you to create the space that you want to have. We just cleared the space. We got into a coherent state just by witnessing, noticing how the breath is moving now, noticing how the body's feeling. We can even deepen that connection more consciously by allowing the exhale to become longer than the inhale. This has a lot of positive physiological effects on the vagus nerve and helps create heart coherence as well. It's all related. Exhaling longer than the inhale. There's no strain here. It's just a longer release. There you go. Beautiful. Just do that a couple more times so you can really feel that. Exhaling longer than the inhale. And notice if you're efforting, release the effort and then just release. There you go. There's a lot of stored emotion in that exhale. Sometimes I find that there's this undercurrent of feeling overwhelmed by what you might feel, so we continue to suppress that. And over the long term, that does you no service. We really want to invite those parts of ourselves to move again, to be in the flow again, to return to the light again. They're stuck in time. They're frozen somewhere in time. And by just allowing the breath to release, does awaken those parts of ourselves, but gently, in a way that you are there now to be there for yourself. It only awakens when you're there and ready to be there for yourself. It's almost like this tacit agreement between you and your parts. Now I know that you're here for me. I'm ready to show myself so I can be one again with you. There's so much cleansing happening just with us doing this together right here. Can you feel that? Just feel how it feels in your body now. Power of presence. Beautiful. I hear another sound wanting to come in. So there's some ancestral patterns. This has been coming up a lot lately. If you've been reading my newsletters or a couple of my posts, really working on these ancestral patterns that you've been carrying with you. They're passed down on to us, but it's not our burden to carry. We are actually the ones to carry it because we are the ones that actually have the power to transmute it, freeing up not only yourself, but the ancestors as well, and anyone who comes after you. So it's this incredible, like, it's almost like Gandalf when he smashes down his staff. He's about to fight the Balrog, and this light just comes out, right? Well, maybe that's not the scene. That's where he says, "You shall not pass." But it's like if he were to stamp down that staff and then light ripples out in all directions. That's what's happening on an energetic level when you're transmuting these ancestral patterns or any imprint, really. It ripples out through all space and time, through all dimensions. So you're not only freeing up yourself to receive and radiate more light, of which you really are. You are a light being in a physical body. You are freeing up those who came before you, those who came after you, and those who are in between. Anyone who resonates with that pattern is also being freed of that pattern as well. You are that powerful. So when you step into taking care of your vibrational health, you are really having a global impact. So everything you do is valuable to so many. The plants, the animals, Gaia, stars. There we go. Now just notice how your body feels here. There's another level of clarity that I'm tracking. So now there's a silence where you can really discern what's in your field, right? So it's another level of silence. Beautiful. So from this place, I really just am going to invite you to radiate warmth, love, compassion, any beautiful feeling you want to share with your entire being. Just ripple that out and radiate that love and that warmth and that appreciation and that compassion outward into your entire self. Because you are all that is. So every cell of your being is now emitting and radiating that same vibration, that same light, that same music. You are a walking symphony of light and health and harmony and peace and love and purpose and prosperity. And compassion and grace and innocence. Right? Beautiful. Let's just sit here for a moment. Take in 3 breaths, and we're going to exhale. Om together. Inhaling together. Om. Feeling the silence, feeling the space, feeling your breath in your body. Beautiful, dear ones. Let me know how this session unfolds for you. And I invite you just to take a few moments several times a day, whenever you need to just quiet down the noise by being present with yourself. It takes maybe 5-7 minutes. And notice how your day starts to flow after you do that for yourself. There wasn't anything you needed to do or change. All you needed to do was just feel your body, notice the breath, allow yourself to exhale longer than the inhales, and then you come back to center. Oh, so beautiful to be with you all today. Thank you so much for your heart and coming together with me to harmonize the nature of oneself. And if you want to go into this in more depth, where we can work specifically with your specific patterns, whatever it is, come join us tonight. The link is in the comments. If you can't join live, there will be a recording for a limited time. And the recording is just as powerful as the live session, although it is a different energy. So if you can be there live, of course, I invite you to do that. But know that it's not a requirement for you to experience change and transformation in your own life. And it's all for a really good cause. Okay, beautiful ones. Thank you, Sophia, for your presence, and everyone else who's here on the recording, and Mom. Always a pleasure. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad it's what you needed, and I'm so glad that I was able to be here with you in that. Blessings, and I'll see you either tonight or same time, same place next week.